sponsors, one of the main sponsors for the event, and just so grateful for Rebecca and John and partnering with us on this project. It is 10X it and beyond, and so it's just been wonderful to actually be working with others that are of like mind and like results. So we'd love to hand it over to you, John Bush.
All right. Give it up for River and Amani, everybody!
Woo!
All right. Wow, what a beautiful day. Before I share, I want to invite this young lady to the stage real quick. Make a quick pitch.
Woo!
You got to go all the way around. I'm an entrepreneur. Give it up for all the entrepreneurs in the audience.
Woo!
I highly believe that entrepreneurship is perhaps the best vehicle we have to bring about change in the world. I don't know how many people in this audience are very fond of government. Anybody love the government out there? No. That's what I'm talking about. Well, government is coercive. People take from other people. There's all sorts of violence and ugliness and corruption. And if you want to eliminate that type of stuff, oftentimes we got to step up and help society, help people to solve common problems. And I strongly believe when there's a profit incentive, when we can act within our rational self-interest, we can get creative and innovative, that is a wonderful tool and all sorts of great incentives to help other people. Come here.
Come on, Elise, you got this. Woo!
Give it up for Elise, ladies and gentlemen.
Woo!
Elise is a young entrepreneur that happens to have a booth in the back, and I'll let her tell you what it's all about. She's like, let me come up at the beginning of your speech so I can share about the booth.
Come on, Elise, you got this. I believe in you. Woo! We love you.
What are you selling?
Crystals, plants, and custom jewelry.
And where can people find that stuff?
John's place.
Booth I. And why should they do business with you? Because she's amazing. And they'll give you the best customer service
the booth.
you've ever experienced. Not to mention amazing prices, and you'll support these kids and grow their confidence so as they become adults, they just kick butt at life like they're already doing. Give it up for Elise, ladies and gentlemen.
Woo!
Right. Cool, cool. My kids are there at the booth too, so go give them some business. I tell them, like, you guys really got to take advantage of this opportunity while you're children, because people may want to do business with you just because you're kiddos. That kind of wears off around 18, 19, 20. Then you actually got to give a solid pitch, but they're learning that too. Anyway, my name is John, and I'm super excited to be sharing with you guys today. I would like to communicate what I call the Live Free Academy Empowerment Framework. Essentially, it's a 4-part framework that can help anybody achieve greater success in their life. Whether that's healthier relationships, whether it's starting a permaculture food forest on the property, whether it's starting a business, whether it's wealth, abundance, health, you name it. I guarantee you that if you implement this framework, you are going to be able to achieve your goals. But before I do that, I just want to give a warm thank you to Angel Robinson. I don't know if she can hear this, she probably can't, but let's send some love and energy her way. Give it up for Angel, ladies and gentlemen.
We love you, Angel.
Making this event possible. Wow. As somebody that organizes events, it is a lot of work, especially when you got to figure out a way to come up with the money up ahead of time. There's a lot of stress, there's a lot of anxiety involved with it. And one thing that I appreciate about this event, I've come to notice that event organizers often attract like people to their events. And so I think that's one of the big reasons why there's so many beautiful, cool, happy, healthy people all around us, because Angel embodies that in herself, and that's who she attracts to her events. So give it for Angel one more time, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah!
Woo!
And all the volunteers and everybody helping and the backstage crew over here. Okay. Okay, so has anybody ever read The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People? It's by Stephen Covey. It's a really good one. One of those habits is to begin with the end in mind. So I thought I'd just share a little bit about my vision and the work that I'm doing in the world. To sum it up, essentially, my goal is to create an environment where the free people of the world can experience political autonomy. That essentially means that we're able to self-govern. We're able to live our lives according to our own beliefs, our own values. We're not encumbered by a parasitic class of leeches known as bureaucrats and taxmen and government. But also, like, usually in my spiel, you know, I talk to crowds that are very, very much libertarian and very conspiracy oriented. So I'm talking about stuff like the New World Order or the Great Reset, right? But this crowd's like, we ain't got time for that, man. We got some yoga to do a little lyra over here. But I do want to share, just to communicate something that motivates me. There is a small group of really shady people. Some people call them the elite, although I don't think they deserve that status. I think we are the elite. Some of them call them the oligarchs, the predator class, the powers that wish they were, as opposed to the powers that be. But anyway, this group of people has been working tirelessly for centuries in order to create an environment where they have total control over other people's lives. And this isn't just a theory or some weird thing you read about on the internet, it's a reality. And unfortunately, these folks have taken control over governments, corporations, organized religion, and they are slowly but surely, actually they're very quickly, implementing an agenda. Some may call it technocracy. That's essentially rule by scientific dictatorship. It's the kind of thing where you have to have a vaccine passport in order to travel. It's the kind of thing where you have a social credit score. So if you go over your monthly carbon allotment, for example, or if you're posting political messaging that isn't in alignment with the ruling class, you lose credit score points, and this makes your life more difficult. It's the kind of thing where you have surveillance that tracks and traces you all the time. And this is something that many people have been aware of for quite some time, but after COVID-19, this all accelerated at a very rapid rate, and now we see it coming to fruition right before our very eyes. It's rather unfortunate, but I don't want to focus so much energy on that, but I do want to point out that the technology does exist, and the plans are in place to implement these types of systems, and to make it very difficult for people to live their lives, to make it very difficult for people to experience real freedom. And that's something that I'm after, real freedom. So there's two ways to go about things when it comes to suffering, when it comes to bringing about your goals. A lot of people act in order to avoid suffering, and other people act in order to create a better life for themselves. It's all about the law of attraction, right? If we focus all of our energy on the enemies, on these evil, bad people, then that's the reality that we're going to live in. But if we focus on where we want to go, the world we want to create, the harmony, the beauty, getting together with friends, having a good time, enjoying nature, then that's what our experience in this world will be. So that's really what I'm after. I am working with as many people as possible that'll join us in creating these networks where like-minded people get together, where they cooperate, where they do businesses together, where they share with one another. And essentially the goal is to opt out of all the ugliness, to no longer subsidize our own oppression, to not subsidize foreign wars, and rather to exist in an environment with systems that I believe are more in alignment with our nature of being free, beautiful, powerful human beings. Does that sound like a noble vision, guys? Y'all with me on that?
Woo!
All right.
Oh!
And so one of the things that we're trying to create by creating these regenerative communities, by creating intentional communities, we're essentially trying to bring people out of the systems that they disagree with and get people to build the new ones. We call it exit and build. So there's a lot of people that want to bring about change in this world, and unfortunately they spend a lot of their time. I don't know why everybody likes to get together and yell at government buildings. You ever notice that? Like, we're going to change the world, let's go yell at a building and wave signs in the air. I think it's much more, it's a better use of our time if we build the world that we are trying to create, rather than yelling at people, shouting people down, and trying to get people to vote a certain way in order to bring about change. Why don't we go out there and demonstrate that our way of life, that the way we want to live, is doable, it's workable. So that's where we come up with this idea of exit and build. It's a strategy to create a better world. Exit the systems you disagree with and build the alternatives. Exit the big banks and build barter networks and trade networks or sharing economies. Exit the government schools and homeschool our kids, raise our kids together, teach them to live along with our values, right? Exit the pharmaceutical industrial complex, the healthcare system, and visit natural practitioners and healing modalities. And you literally are what you eat, right? But nutrition isn't even taught to medical doctors. It's a shame. So I hope you'll join us in building these new systems. And what we're doing here today is a wonderful example of just that. But every time I come to these incredible festivals and awesome camp out events with all these amazing people, I think to myself, what if we just lived like this all the time? Wouldn't that be cool, right? And who's to stop us from doing that? Well, we got jobs, we got to pay the mortgage, we got to go back and deal with this or that. And I want to encourage people to step into their power, because at the end of the day, I strongly believe that we are the only people preventing us from creating a more ideal world. An ideal world that's in alignment with our values, an ideal world for the benefit of those of us that are alive now, our families, but also let us lay the foundation and the groundwork so future generations, those that aren't even born yet, are able to experience freedom and abundance that we never thought possible. I'm a big firm believer in this indigenous idea that we should act today and be conscious of how our actions in the present will affect the future 7 generations to come. So I think about that kind of thing every time I fill out my 1040 and subsidize this behemoth of an institution known as the federal government. Think of what if there's different ways to fund services and to help people with their common wants and needs that aren't based on coercion and theft and corruption, right?